Hey folks, in this video, we will explain the top 5 strongest Iron Man suits. Have you ever seen Tony Stark's collection of Iron Man suits? They could possibly number in the thousands. Apart from running Stark Industries, the only thing that excites him is building new suits and improving on the old ones. In this video, we highlight 5 of Iron Man's most powerful and enduring suits. Stick around! Number 5. Cold Iron Armor. The cold iron armor is only to be worn when fighting entities of the magical realm. It especially holds its own and protects Tony against spells that might be cast on him. We know most of Tony's suits have designs based on science and engineering technology, but what if entities like elves and sorcerers could find a way to bypass all that tech and are able to harm Tony regardless of his suit of armor? We trust that Tony himself has thought about that eventuality. So, in order to address that potential problem, he fabricated the cold iron armor. It's made of a very special metal that is resistant to magic, much like how Superman can't stand kryptonite, or like how vampires can only be killed by wooden stakes to the heart. Certain magic spells are ineffective against this unnamed metal. The cold iron suit was built as a low-tech mechanical suit and so incorporates more bolts and nuts than high-tech gadgetry. It can be said to be closer to the Mark I suit Tony made while in captivity that inspired every other suit of armor. So essentially, this suit is as basic as it can get, in addition to the fact that it is impenetrable by magic. Its onboard weapons include aerosolized fillings that can burn the eyes and skin of assailants. It also includes a laser targeting system and 2 Wolverine-like fangs on either arm to maintain balance. These fangs also act as grounding devices against electrical shocks like those from Thor, for example. In one fight, a character named Malekith tried to magically transform the armor into gold so that its effect could be weakened, but Tony used a little scientific magic of his own. He deployed an extremely realistic hologram of himself and the suit, and so Malekith misfired. The suit might not be the most nimble or subtle of all the suits Tony has built, but it serves an important purpose, and good thing, Tony figured he'd need such a suit one day. It's the reason Tony serves as a great leader in the Avengers Collective, and it was always all about his foresight. Number 4. War Machine. We all know this one. Tony made it specifically for us. Sorry, it's already taken. Tony did in fact make it for Colonel James Rhodes, but you already knew that. The War Machine is probably the most popular Iron Man suit of armor out there, and it doesn't even officially belong to Tony. The War Machine suit of armor is also the most recognizable except for the yellow and red colored one Tony uses every day. It's colored silver and gray and has quite a monster build, suitable for a man of the military like Colonel Rhodes. The first time the silver-toned suit was ever built, Tony personally took it for a spin. Of course, in other variations of the story, including the MCU version, Tony actually gifts it to the Colonel, but back to the original story. Tony uses the War Machine suit to face off an assassination attempt spearheaded by a character named the Master of Silence. The War Machine suit incorporates the iconic shoulder-mounted guns and rocket launchers in addition to a laser-guided system for better targeting. It also includes an improved flamethrower. It's all about the attacking game for this suit of armor, even though it has a heavy metal footprint that can also aid in defense. The War Machine suit was made to shoot first and ask questions later, hence all the visibly intimidating firepower. Even in hand-to-hand combat mode, the War Machine has been equipped with an aggressive scan mode that anticipates the opponent's moves and counters them accordingly. Apparently, the War Machine armored suit is a force to be reckoned with. Number 3. Hulkbuster. We saw what this suit of armor was capable of when going head-to-head with the Hulk. You need no other clue than the name itself. It was specifically designed to fight the Hulk when, perchance, the time came around. We all know Hulk can get neurotic at times, and during those times, he requires some taming. Again, trust Tony to have thought about such a scenario. Who is this guy, though? Tony always has all the situations covered. You can also trust that this suit of armor has not been left to idle away. There have, in fact, been a couple of slugfests during Tony's lifetime between the Hulkbuster and the Hulk himself. The last of these was in the Avengers MCU movie, and we can attest to the fact that the battle in question was nothing short of epic. There have also been many within the pages of Marvel comic books, but one story arc in particular is of interest. It involves Tony losing control of some of his autonomous suits. These suits start to malfunction because of a glitch or virus and start to destroy stuff. It just so happens that one of those is the Hulkbuster. It gets so bad that the Avengers are called upon to contain the situation. But as a testament to how crazy the Hulkbuster is, the Avengers find it really difficult to put it down. They go on to fight for their dear lives and almost get killed. Imagine that. Earth's mightiest warriors can't take down a pre-programmed robot. This is because, like the War Machine, the Hulkbuster has a scan that helps it anticipate an opponent's next move, so it counters in retaliation. Eventually, Tony is called upon to do something about his rampaging armored suits, so Tony makes a last-ditch move. When the Hulkbuster is about to crush Captain America's skull, Tony electrocutes the power source in his chest. And since all the suits have a synaptic connection to him, this move is able to shut down the suits. But the concentrated electric shock almost kills Tony too. Number 2. Bleeding Edge. We might be familiar with the term cutting-edge technology, which describes technology that is far ahead of its time. In this case, it's bleeding edge, and this suit of armor was built by the two greatest minds in the Marvel stables. That is, Tony Stark and Reed Richards, and yes, it was a collaborative effort. It's not like Tony needed a little help, but Reed or Mr. Fantastic offered it anyway, and the result was a marvel of technology. You get the Marvel part, don't you? The Bleeding Edge armor is a complete technological makeover from the ground up that reinvented the way Iron Man operated on every level. The Bleeding Edge armor exists within Tony's biology, that is within his body itself, and the trick is the fluid armor is embedded inside Tony's body, or more precisely in the hollow parts of his bones. So anytime he needs the suit, he mentally calls on it, and it appears from inside his body, covering every bit of it. It is powered by the new and improved core, called a repulsor battery, which is responsible for building the skin of metal around Tony's body. And since this suit is unique to Tony's physical form, no other person can use it. In essence, it cannot be loaned out like the War Machine. Moreover, the suit is not just connected to his body, but also has his brain power online too, and uses the processing power of Tony's brains to work. So it doesn't need to access external networks for information. Tony's brain adequately serves that purpose. The Bleeding Edge armor is probably the most efficient piece of armor that Tony has ever built. It is completely inconspicuous and doesn't require moving parts, just as it is available at the drop of a hat. Plus, for you hackers out there trying to find a loophole in the programming of any Iron Man suits, well, the Bleeding Edge suit cannot be hacked because it is organically based on Tony's body and brain power. Number 1. Endo-Sim armor. This one was made specifically for and worn by the superior Iron Man. Okay, if you're confused, this variant of Iron Man was, to put it directly, a villain. He arose during the Axis story run, where certain heroes were transformed into villains and vice versa. It happened when the Red Skull obtained Professor Xavier's brain from his dead corpse, which he planned to use for some nefarious activities. The Avengers thwarted his plan, but he only grew stronger, becoming the Red Onslaught. But by the time he was ultimately defeated, a spell had been cast by the Scarlet Witch that resulted in a reversal of roles. Tony Stark was not exempted, and so he started to really think like a villain. First on his to-do list was to make the appropriate suit of armor for a villain who looked like himself. He settled on a symbiote-style armored suit. Whatever a symbiote could do, this suit could also do. Coupled with the fact that it wrapped Tony in an impenetrable skin of armor, it also had all the bells and whistles of regular suits of armor. Tony stopped short of calling it the Venom suit and instead named it the Endo-Sim suit. And like the symbiote, it utilized full liquid smart metal in a similar manner as Eddie Brock's Venom symbiote. This suit of armor is obviously similar to the Bleeding Edge suit, and it also works with Tony's brain in a similar manner. This suit also ditches a full helmet, and instead Tony's real face is shown through a transparent visor. This visor is made of graphene, which is known as the strongest metal on Earth. The visor can take a direct bullet to Tony's face at point-blank range and not be breached. The symbiote's seemingly smart metal can bond with Tony, but also act independently when it is required to intervene on his behalf. So essentially, it is a living armor, and this is where it differs from the Bleeding Edge variant. The suit can operate both as Tony's Iron Man suit or as that of a partner like Venom and Eddie Brock. So the Endo-Sim armor has all of the biological benefits of the Bleeding Edge armor, but can additionally act outside of Tony's explicit control. Although Tony Stark created the armored suit with evil intentions, the Endo-Sim suit is one of the most extremely powerful armored suits to have been conceived by Tony Stark. Even though it was incredibly dangerous and irresponsible of him to create it in the first place, it's Tony Stark, isn't it? Tony does whatever Tony wants to do. So that is it, folks, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Did it inform you? Please leave your comments below. Remember to subscribe to the channel or like the video or even hit the notification bell for more uploads. Thanks for watching, and bye.